Hey Milano, thanks for coming on, man.
Course, man. Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Let's start with where it all began for you in the music industry.
Yeah, so for me, I guess probably when I was a teenager, maybe even a little younger, like eighth grade, I got into just listening to rap music. So for me, eighth grade is 1999. So I'm listening to like New York hip hop. I grew up in New Jersey. So like Jay-Z, Biggie, like Wu-Tang, even stuff like from a little bit younger. Um, and it was kind of like the first music that I guess I felt like I identified with, or it just felt like me. It felt like what me and my friends were, like where our heads were at versus like,
Mm.
I don't know, growing up like with my parents and stuff, it was always like classic rock in the house, like Bruce Springsteen, shit like that, like, which I still like to this day.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but it was like the first music that I felt like was mine, to listen to, like my own like secret world that I had. And I started kind of dabbling, I guess, with like writing like lyrics and stuff at that point. I wasn't very good, but I do have somewhere probably like CDs that have recordings on them from like when I was 13, 14. Um, I'm sure my parents have them somewhere. I'd love to dig them up and actually listen to them. I'm like borderline afraid to throw them on. They're probably worse than like my memory even serves. But yeah, that was, I guess, the beginning of the journey, so to speak.
I did find online that your dad is a musician also, or was that correct? Is that
That
wrong?
is
Yeah.
that is correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He plays guitar and sings and was in like bunch of different bands and stuff through the years. Never made like the play to like do it full time, I guess. Probably would have at certain points if it presented itself, but has always played. I mean, that's probably my one of my bigger regrets is he tried to teach me how to play guitar many times when I was younger, but you know how it is. It's like when you're a
Yeah.
kid, you just like don't want to do what your dad's telling you to do for whatever reason. And like, and he even told me then, like, you're gonna regret it one day. You're gonna wish you took the time. This is when it's easier to learn. And I can play a little bit. I can play chords. I can play a couple songs and stuff. But like he's like nasty on the guitar. He still picks it up. He still has some old friends that he played music with 40 years ago that they get together and still play and stuff. So it's cool. He can
And
sing too, which
yeah.
I can't. My mom's side of the family really can't sing. I got those genes, but I got the musicality somewhere from him, I guess, but not the singing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But did he give you the motivation, inspiration to push it somewhat full time? Because you're pretty much borderline full time. I assume you have like a job somewhere down the line.
I work I've worked the whole time. I've never done music full time. I've never probably even given it a fair shake, which
Mm.
is on me, I guess. And the older I got, the less I guess inclined I was to give it the fair shake. But my family was in general always really supportive of it. Like I don't, my father wasn't like a rap fan by any means, but I think he was always like impressed by it. I can remember him when I was younger, like showing his friends like the music and stuff and being proud of it. Same with my mom always. My mom would have liked it even if it was shit though.
Mm.
Like I think my dad would have told me if it wasn't good or if there was nothing
Yeah.
there, like hey, this isn't for you.
It's like, yeah, the mum's job to keep you like motivated and going, but your dad's like there to go, nah, this is shit.
This is it. Yeah, I don't do this anymore. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. So yeah, I was, I think I felt somewhat validated by like, him saying that he liked the music. And at that time, like, even going into my late teenage years, like in the high school and stuff, that was like the very beginning of the internet for music. SoundClick was this site we used to use pre SoundCloud where you could upload like songs and you could like, track stats like to a degree. You could see plays and they had like little charts and stuff. But for the most part, like we were still like burnt, like we would put mixtapes together and like burn them on CDs. And like I would sit at my house and like burn a shitload of CDs. And then we would sell them hand to hand. It's a different world.
Yeah.
Good, better in some ways and more challenging in other ways.
Yeah, it is. I got another question coming up about the industry and the track you did with Lit Lords. But before we get there, what's it like working with some of the greatest like EDM and bass music artists in the industry? Like, does that just hit you some days and you're like, holy fucking shit, I just did a track with, you know, this
Yeah,
person?
yeah, it does. I think it's cool. Like I never even really listened to EDM music, to be honest, until maybe 2005. I don't remember when I even really started doing this, 2014 maybe or something, but I'd say maybe a year before I started doing this kind of music, I started like listening to EDM somewhat. Like I think I went to like a festival or something with some friends that were into it. And I was like, oh, this is like pretty cool. And I noticed like some trap stuff and I'm like, this is like hip hop enough that I think I could like get into this. And then you start digging around. Yellow Claw was like really kind of doing the trap thing at that point. Yeah. And I was like, you know, it'd be cool to, I like this guy. It'd be cool to work with this person. And then it seems like as it starts to kind of happen, like you start to take it for granted inevitably, which sucks. But like but to your point, like when I do look back and I look at some of like the track lists and I'm like, oh shit, like Riot 10 was someone who I was like on his SoundCloud, like listening to every song. He's one of the like original hard trap people. Say My Name. I never would have thought that I would have worked with him or Riot 10. I mean, they're both really cool, like down to earth guys. Yeah, it is weird. It's odd to me. It definitely is. It definitely is.
What gets better streams, your original rap stuff or your EDM stuff?
EDM stuff by far. It's not
Yeah.
even close. I wish it was the other way around sometimes, but it's not even close. Just the rap, my fan bases, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, is more EDM because that's where I kind of started, I guess, in this like era of me doing music. So the hip hop stuff does well, and I've had some like Tribal Trap. That label has been cool enough to like release my purely hip hop music on the main Tribal Trap label, which is cool. Like he mostly released stuff with drops, so to release some just hip hop stuff is awesome. Stan's like one of the cooler people in the industry, also I would say.
Yeah. What's been the biggest learning experience for you in the music industry?
That's a good question. Kind of go with your gut, I guess, and don't believe like the hype that people will try to like put around things. It's easy, I think, to get caught up in like the moment of like, all right, maybe someone is selling you a bill of goods, like I can do this for you, I can do that for you. And I guess like having gone through some things before, being like a little older helped, like having been through experiences where like you get screwed over by somebody. So I was always a little bit more skeptical. I think in ways I've had to, or probably something I need to get better at, or that I've gotten better at, is like being a little more open or willing to like engage with people when they like have an opportunity or have something. Whereas I'm like, sometimes I can be kind of closed off to certain things, as I'm kind of always thinking like, I don't know, like this doesn't feel right. Something feels a little scammy about this or a little weird. Like kind of feel like I have my guard up in some ways. So maybe, yeah, I think just realizing that there's like a balance, and like, you know, certain situations you encounter in your life don't necessarily like shouldn't influence everything that happens from, you know, that point forward.
Yeah. I feel like it's become more forefront with the whole pandemic and everything. Everyone seems a little more scammy. So it's a lot harder
Oh
for
yeah,
the music industry to even start getting back on its feet because people are out there just scamming people left, right, and center.
100%. Yeah. People were the more desperate people get, the more, you know, the more simple it becomes to scam them, right? It's much easier to scam somebody who really needs like the money or really needs whatever it is. Like if you don't need it and like it's not necessary, then it's a lot easier to be like, you know, something sounds too good to be true. Let me like vet this out before. I mean, the amount of friends and people I see whose Instagrams start posting stuff about me sending them $2,000 and stuff, and I'm like, you fell for this shit, like,
Yeah.
come on, bro.
I don't want to go off the back of the scamming, but tell me a bit about your somewhat, I want to say, masterclass of how you teach people. You run classes, right? You do.
Yeah, so I've done some like mentorship stuff. What I would really like to do that I haven't gotten a chance to dive into completely. I have the kind of like framework for it done. I have a couple of people interested, but I haven't been able to. I'd really love to do like a class on like writing rap lyrics. But the mentorship stuff that I've actually done is kind of about how to basically take yourself from like point A to point B, whatever that point A and point B is. You know, if you're starting at, you know, 100 followers and you have no music out, or if you're like a little further along and I just establish a baseline early on with the artist, like what would you consider success at the end of our like time together, you know, and then we sort of build it backwards from there. And basically it's nothing like, it's not the old like you know, post this many times on this social media kind of thing. It's, I think, a little more like practical stuff that I did that I didn't know I was really doing, or that I wasn't conscious that I was doing, that I used to kind of get myself out there a little more. It's like, if you want to release on XYZ label and they're not listening to your demos, like I was like, you know what, let me see who is releasing on this label. It's artists. I would make a list of like 10 artists and I hit those artists up. Like, you want to work together, with the idea in my head of like, all right, like they already released on the label. Maybe the label will actually pay attention to the demo if it's a collaboration with one of those artists or something. And so it's like just little techniques that I think younger artists can use to like slowly kind of tick yourself up the ladder, work with the person that's a little bit bigger than you, a little bit bigger than them, this label that's associated with this one. And it's just like having some kind of a business mind along with the music, and using some strategies instead of just like making a shitload of music and like kind of seeing what happens. That's sort of like the crux of the course, I guess.
When you say it like that, that makes a lot of sense. You know, it's like you work with someone, you collaborate with someone on the label, and then the label now has eyes on you also.
Yeah, and then
like,
you can release solo stuff.
Yeah, it just like when you say it like that, it makes it so simple.
Yeah, I think it is a simple concept, but you can apply it to everything. I tell them too, like, you might have your eyes on some DJ that I really wish, for me at the time, I was like, I really want Carnage to play my music. That was, to me, would have been like, you know, the apex of, so like, I didn't just happen to like get lucky. Like at the time I was working with Lunatics, who no longer are around, if you remember them. They were part of like a group. It was like me and Lunatics, Vargo, who's VRG now, and we had like this little collective, and they had like a connection to Carnage. And I was like, all right, if maybe me and Lunatics do a song together, like that'll get it in Carnage's hands. And sure enough, like that was the first song that I had that he played. It was a song, GHGH, Go Hard or Go Home. It's just like, or like remix an artist song. The first time Junkie Kid ever reposted one of my songs, it was a remix of a Junkie Kid song. And, you know, that's what got his attention. So like, it's not that far fetched. Like all of it makes sense. It's just a matter of like, sometimes just almost thinking inside the box. Don't try to get too cute with it. Just do the things that make sense.
Yeah. Well, I have a mate over here and he remixed Nightmares, or he flipped it. Inhibitions, Good Inhibitions, I believe it is. But yeah, he got it played, and Nightmare just plays it everywhere, every set he plays now. So like, yeah, it's just exactly what you say. You just pretty much harass them in a nice way. Like don't don't be spamming.
Yeah, you're giving them something that, like, I just think of it like you got to put yourself in their shoes. Like, what's gonna make, if I ran that label Festival Trap for a while. Go Hard runs it now. But even with that, like, I know from my, like, as much as it sucks to say, like, I would get a lot of demos and I'd skim through the ones of people I didn't recognize if I was real busy that week. Like, and if I got like a couple from people I knew that like I had released before, like those are the ones I'm going to listen to and give like a second listen to. It's just human nature. So like, you have to keep that in mind. Like everybody that's behind these things, like they got a million things going on besides like listening to your demo and giving it a fair shot. So whatever you can do to like better your chances, just like do it.
Yeah. How do you sell verses for so cheap? Considering you've worked with some of the biggest people, it's just like a bunch of dirt cheap is what you're selling your verses for.
Yeah, I like to think so. Some people still think it's too expensive, but volume, I don't know. I like to stay busy. I like it. Like I like doing it. And I think it's cool. Like I wish someone would have like gave me a cool opportunity early on. Like, so to me, if it's like, if it'll help an artist and it's like, I can make enough money to kind of cover my time and effort. And like a lot of these tracks end up being really fire. Like I won't work with someone if it's not good. Like if they send me something, you could offer me however much money you want. If the track is like ass, I'm not going to do it. It's, you know, that would be fucked up. Yeah. You know, that's not doing anyone a service. So yeah, if it's something I think I'll sound good on and they're excited about it and, you know, the money makes sense, you know, then I think it's always worth doing. It keeps my mind sharp. I don't think I'll ever run. Hopefully I'll never run out of bars.
Well, your name will be attached to it, so I guess it does have to be
Right.
relatively decent, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, that's your reputation, their reputation.
Right.
Yeah. Again,
Yeah, right.
no
You don't
amount of
want to have
money.
anything. You don't want anything with your name attached to it. That's yeah, gotta keep it legit.
You've been doing it for a couple of years now. Have you ever felt like just giving up and just doing your normal 9 to 5, or is that just not an option?
I mean, I've given up a bunch of times along the way, because I figure if you go back to, let's say I started like serious way at like 15. I'm 36 now. So I mean, I've definitely stopped for long stretches of time, and I've been serious about it for stretches of time. I'd say this recent, like the EDM scene into now, is probably the longest I've consistently done it without really stopping for longer than a month or two. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've been known to stop things like abruptly. I skateboarded for a long ass time, and I think one day I just stopped after doing it every day. So who knows? Maybe I'll stop one day. At this point, though, I don't think so. Everything seems to be going well now. I'm liking it. I have fun doing it. When it stops being fun, that's when I'll probably stop doing it. It's a cheesy answer, but I think it's the truth.
Yeah, well, that's what I was told, that once you stop getting the jitters of live performances, it doesn't become fun anymore, and you just don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of artists, like, they want to. For me, part of the reason I think I always worked also along with doing music is like, it makes, I don't have to be doing the music. Like, I'm not depending on it. So being able to just do it because I enjoy it, I get to make the stuff I want to make then, instead of having to feel like I have to meet this deadline, or I have to do this thing, or I have a manager like breathing down my neck. Like, you gotta, you need these 4 tracks in, master this, like mix that. It's just been having a steady job to be able to like say, like, all right, the money is not everything. I don't have to make it. Takes a lot of the pressure off, and it allows the music to just be fun. So yeah, I wish I had more time to do it, but the time I do have to do it, I really enjoy it. It's my time, uninhibited. So it's a weird thing. It's not for everybody. I understand some people need to be fully locked in for it, but it's always been the way I've kind of balanced myself.
Yeah. Have you ever done a live performance?
Yeah. So
Solo
done
rap
hip
stuff?
hop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done rap stuff, more so prior to the EDM thing, like straight up rap stuff. I did some battle rap stuff, which was interesting. I'm a huge battle rap fan. Huge battle rap fan. It's like probably watch more battle rap than I do any other form of TV or television shows or movies. But yeah, so I did that a little bit back in like that was when, now all the battle rapping's a cappella. This was when like saw a lot of on beat battles and things that were going on,
Yeah.
and it was really truly freestyle. Now it's a lot of written stuff, which I actually think is cooler. The written stuff, you get a lot more complex and a lot more interesting lyrics when you're writing it versus coming off the top. But yeah, live performances are fun. It's fun. The most fun I have doing it is when I get to do it with Lit Lords. Just, we have good chemistry, and this, in the studio, whether we're apart or together, or on stage, it's just fun. Like, we always talk about, like, if we could do something like long together, like a real tour together, how much fun it would be. Hopefully it happens someday. I don't know.
What is the deal with you and Lit Lords? Like, you guys have that many tracks together. it's ridiculous. He's probably the most person you work with out of the whole
Oh,
industry.
by far, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how many. I think it's like it's got to be close to 20 now. Um, the story of how I started with Lit Lords was just just a SoundCloud DM, and there wasn't that many people working doing hard trap stuff at that point. It was like me, Freaky, Bilo, and then like the original people like Riot 10 and Say My Name and Lit Lords. And I just hit them up like, yo, like, we do kind of the same music. Let's do something. And at that point, I think I was talking to Wade, was running the SoundCloud. So me and him had a conversation. End up finding out Wade's like closer to my age. He grew up in Long Island, which is a similar upbringing to what I had in the part of New Jersey that I grew up in. So we had like similar backgrounds, similar upbringing and stuff. So me and him really clicked. And then he kind of just put me and Isaiah together. And it was just like, I think like the first month that we started working together, we have probably like another 20 or more songs that you'll never hear, that'll never come out. Some old ones and some new ones that we just scrap and don't put out. But yeah, we just went crazy. Like we almost did too much music together in the beginning where we like burned ourselves out. And then, yeah, I don't know. It just works. So it's like synonymous with each other. I kind of think of it like the way, with the Wu-Tang Clan, Redman was never really part of the Wu-Tang Clan, but like you put him, you mentally attach him to it because of his relationship with like Method Man. I think of myself like that with Lit Lords. Like our fan bases are very similar. If you know them, you at least have heard. If you're a fan of them, you've heard a song with me on it at some point. So
hopefully,
yeah, right. Yeah.
I'll pin them together, pin them up against each other again. Lit Lords will say my name.
Lit Lords, because I would never say anything different.
Yeah.
You know, and that's nothing against him. Say my name's a nice dude, man. I don't have like we're not tight or anything, but you know, anytime we communicated with each other, he's a cool guy. He seems like he has everyone's best interests at heart. But like, you know, Lit Lords, they're like, I mean, that's probably my best friends in the music industry. And I really truly believe, like, when anyone asks, I think best producer, hands down, period, across the board. The guy can literally do anything, and it's incredible how fast he works. It's like mind blowing. Like you see him do something live on like Instagram Live or something like that. Like he didn't start that, and like he's not faking that he's doing it. Like he literally can make like ridiculous full tracks in like an hour. Sometimes it's unbelievable. I don't understand it.
Yeah, his mixed hard trap, drum and bass hybrid stuff is just insane. It's like no one's doing that.
Yeah, I mean, you can make house music better than any house music artist I've heard. Like it just doesn't make any sense. And the hip hop beats and stuff, even like some of the songs we've done, that song Fire Drill, the original beat he sent me is not the beat that the song ends up being. Like I recorded it and then he was like, yo, like I think I have like an idea, and he just like redid the beat and caught like all these little nuances and like the cadence of the flow, and like hit it with like just different percussions and the way he can like swing the percussion and stuff. I don't know, just the way he sent it, because I was like, no, don't change the beat. Like this is crazy. Don't mess with it. And then he sends it back. I'm like, all right, yeah, you should have. Yeah.
Your track you did with Lit Lords called The Industry. What's wrong with the industry? If you could sum it up.
Yeah, I think the wrong people a lot of times are the ones that are wrong. So wrong isn't the right word probably, but you know, it's not a talent based industry. And that's fine. Like it's a sales industry, like every business, you know. It's like, who can we like cherry pick that we can market? I think that's where kind of the industry's focus is. If you can market yourself really well and play the game, put yourself in a position with whether it be like a viral TikTok or a viral social media presence of some kind. Like, yeah, if I owned a business, I'm taking that guy that already has a built-in fan base over somebody else that's more talented. I don't blame them for doing it. It just sucks in a way, you know, like I think when you feel, and you should feel as an artist, that you're kind of better than everybody else. At least with rap is competitive. You know, I want to go in, I want to feel like I'm better than somebody else if I'm putting my music on a track. And I just feel like sometimes the wrong people end up in power or positions of power, and they like close the doors instead of like saying like, all right, let me bring some people along that are, you know, maybe also talented. They don't. Or like, I would like to believe if I was in a position to help people and bring them along, I would do it. But I don't know. I've never been in that position either. So from my position, it's easy to do a song like Industry and say like, you know, fuck this, and you guys all suck, and it's all dick riding and all that. Like, that's how I see it from my vantage point. But, you know, also like, you can't help everybody and you can't bring everybody along with you, and you have to protect your own asset too. So if you're a guy that came from here and made it to here, like, good for you. Like, you kind of gotta protect your spot to a degree. I just think there's room to also help people and kind of bring people along. The idea for the music video was sort of like, you know, with the straight jacket and all that was like being, you know, physically trapped by the fact that you feel sometimes like, for some reason, some forces that be like, don't want you to get from point A to point B or something. I don't know. You feel trapped a lot of the time. So that was kind of the mentality behind that.
Yeah, that makes sense. When you look at the music industry from both perspectives, it's kind of how you say it. Like, it's very restricting of who they put through. And
Yeah.
like there's a lot of talented people out there, and some of my friends are very talented as well. But it also comes down to a mental thing. Some people aren't ready for that. Aren't Some people aren't ready to push themselves and get out there. So
Totally.
they're it's the industry and them themselves at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Without question. I think one thing that like, I don't know, at a certain point I decided like I'm not gonna like do the music that like I think I should be doing or something. Like I'm just gonna do the music I like. And that's what I'd say with the Lit Lords relationship. Like when we set out, like when we do the Milano and the Lords month thing, like we're already starting to put stuff together for this November. We always like we want it to be different than last time, like or we didn't or we failed. Like we want it to be weird and unique. And like if some people don't have like an issue with it, we always get like those people like, this isn't what we wanted from you guys. Like we expect this or that. And I get that. Like, I don't know, even for me, like if I listen to, you know, Nas, I want Nas to rap like Nas. If I want to listen to like drill rap, I'll listen to like Fabio Foreign. Like I don't want Nas to rap like him. Like you kind of want what you want from your artist. Like this is how I picture XYZ artists. This is what I want them to sound like. So I get that, but you know, it is what it is. Like I like the songs and it reflects in the streams. Like industry has probably half the streams that the other songs that we release in November have. And that's fine.
Yeah. Well, people shouldn't box their artists in because
Yeah.
eventually, I don't think it'll happen, but eventually Hard Trap will die. And then what? Then Lit Lords dies. But he won't, because now he's doing an experimental stuff with drum and bass, with like melodic trap, just like very different stuff that no one's really doing.
Yeah, bring different elements into it. You know, like you can be yourself while experimenting. You know, like I don't know, like to me, even for me rapping on the type of beats that are like that exist in the EDM world, or like even just trap stuff with like 808s and the fast hi-hats, and this was like never what I kind of like had in mind. I'm like old like Alchemist as a producer, DJ Premier, like boom bap type hip hop is like kind of like me and Isaiah have done songs like that too. Like The Professional is like very golden era hip hop. That song did great. But you know, anything, I don't know. I always want people hit me up. They're like, yo, I kind of want to get you on a song, but it's color bass or it's like future house. And I know you don't really do that. I'm like, no, like that's what I want to do. Send me the weird tempo that I've never done before. And let's like see what happens. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But like, I want to do weird stuff and push myself. You can only rap over 150 BPM trap stuff like so many times before it, you know, gets stale.
Yeah. And how can people reach you?
Instagram's the best. I'm on Instagram too much. But yeah, Instagram's the best.
Yeah. Well, you're pretty easygoing. Like I DM'd you on some other stuff and it was pretty simple from there. Like the ball just got rolling so quick. And yeah. Very easy guy.
Yeah, easy. Every like to keep it easy. You know, to me, it's like mutual respect. We all, you know, until you got it. I'm not like you got to earn it person. It's like you have it until you like lose it kind of a person, you know. I think that's how it should be. You know, you don't need to prove. Nobody should be needing to prove themselves to anybody. Like we are all just out here trying to do our thing, and we all have our little hustles and stuff. Like I'll hear anybody out that hits me up. I try to respond to everybody. I don't think I leave anybody except for if you're trying to like get me verified for $100 or something. Then I'm a block. But besides that, like, yeah, I'll talk to whoever.
Yeah. How'd you come up with the name Milano The Don?
So my last name's Milano. I've been in many different things throughout my music career. My first name was J Mill. My first name is James. So I was J-Mill. Then this rapper came out named J Mills. So I changed myself to J Dash. And that was basically like making the hyphen, the word dash. So I was J Dash. There's probably still music online you could find under J Dash, like older rap stuff. And then when I started doing the EDM stuff, I just like, I'll just be Milano. It seems like a lot of EDM artists just go by like a one name, like a Madonna type situation. So I'm gonna just go with that. And then there is another artist named Milano, who's good trap artist. So I was like, fuck, he actually hit me up and he's like, we got to do something about this. And at the time, I was like, no, I'm not changing my name. But then I was like, you know what? That doesn't make any sense. Let me try to, I want to be searchable. I wanted it to be like something that nobody else is. So I think I actually put it on Facebook. I was like, what should I want to be Milano the something or like something like that. What should I change it to? And someone, I wish I could remember who it was to give them credit, but I can't. But someone put it in the comments. It was like, you should be Milano the Don. And I was like, I like that. That's cool. I'm going with that. And that was it.
Yeah, just stuck.
Italian thing. It's the whole Italian thing, the Godfather thing, the Don,
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Do you live the lifestyle you portray on your Instagram?
what would be that lifestyle? How does it look?
like like a Don, like exactly like that. You know what I mean? Like
Probably a little more modest than what I put in there, Yeah. I don't know. No, I'm not crazy like that. And like I know a lot of my lyrics are like super violent and like, but I don't know. I just got off another call with this really cool guy from this Instagram page called Rap Seminar. He does like hip hop breakdowns, and he was kind of like asking me a similar question. And I'm like, I would never claim to be like, I'm no super thug. Like I'm not, that's not my history. That's not my background. I'll take care of myself and that kind of thing. But like, I'm not what some of these guys are. And I would never claim to be. I just think for me, it's like the Milano the Don is a character in a way, right? Like,
yeah.
you know, I look at it like I'm writing a movie every time I go sit down in front of the pad. I try to be very visual, and I like violent movies, and think like as, I don't know, a lot of guys do, like, it's just like an action movie mentality of like, and I think probably influenced by battle rap. Battle rap is like street battle stuff is like, it's all about like, how many different ways can I like physically murder you? Like with guns and all this stuff. And it's like, even the guys that are definitely not street guys in real life use like what they call gun bars and stuff. And I guess that's kind of was my mentality. It's like, I just want to, if I could think of like a crazy way to say something, I'm going to say it. I usually won't say that stuff in just like a straight up line. Like if I'm talking about a gun in some way, it's going to be some crazy way that I'm saying it. That's how I try to do it. But yeah, I don't know. No, I'm not like, I'm just kind of regular, I guess.
I thought that's not even a question I had. It just came into my mind. It's like, does he live the way he lives? Like
Yeah,
portrays on Instagram. But yeah.
it's somewhat, and I probably have at certain points in my life on and off, but yeah.
Yeah, like it is an image of Milano the Don, so it does need to be how you portray yourself in your lyrics and stuff. So it's all about the image of Milano the Don.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it being, an image to a degree, but yeah, like in character, like you always have like the spillover, and there's a lot of me, there's a lot of me in that. I'd say someone asked me like, what do you like, you say this or that in your lyrics or this. I'm like, yeah, that's like, Rick Ross definitely didn't really sell 10,000 keys of cocaine. I know that, but he might have done something. It's just raps like if there's embellishment involved inevitably. So I think it's like you take a version of yourself, kind of characterize it and create like an embellished, extra cocky sort of version of, who you really are. So there's a lot of me in there, just to an extreme, I guess.
As someone who has never been to New Jersey, what's it like? I hear mixed things.
Yeah. New Jersey's weird. New Jersey should have mixed reviews because it's a small state, but there's a lot of people. It's like close to 10 million people in New Jersey. Yeah, and I think it's the second smallest state. Rhode Island's the smallest, or third maybe. So it's very, if you're in North Jersey, close to New York, what we call North Jersey, that is completely different than if you're in South Jersey. South Jersey and West Jersey is much more influenced by Philadelphia. People down there have a little bit of like a Philly accent. North Jersey people have like kind of what you would call like, it's like the way they talk on The Sopranos would be like, that's like true North Jersey accent. There's this bridge on the Parkway called the main highway that runs up and down, called the Driscoll Bridge. And that's usually kind of the defining point between like Central Jersey, North Jersey, and then South. And then there's the shore. So you have like the beach towns and stuff, like the Jersey Shore. stuff. I'm in the like south part of central Jersey. No one else talks like this except people that are from New Jersey because it's not big enough to even be divided this much. But yeah, I'm on the shore side of the south central part of New Jersey. I grew up in a city called Elizabeth, which is more of like would be considered like a North Jersey town.
Hmm.
Yeah. By like the biggest city close to Elizabeth is Newark, which is like the Newark airport is where most people who fly into New York fly into.
And this is just for my own personal memory bank. Is it worth visiting as a tourist?
New Jersey?
Yeah.
For the beach, I would say. Yeah, the beaches. Yeah, the beaches are crazy. I mean, the beach I live close to, Long Beach Island, it's called. I'm like 9 miles from there. It's 18 miles of uninterrupted beach. I think it's the longest stretch of uninterrupted beach in New Jersey. There's, good nightlife, great food. And you're close enough to New York where you could pop into New Jersey and you don't have to spend your whole time here. You could say you're visiting New York and then come by and see what New Jersey has to offer.
Yeah.
I love it. I don't know. I have no plans of leaving. New Jersey people we're proud, a proud bunch.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Is it so how I picture it, because I've been to LA and LA is just this nice shiny place. I just think the East Coast is very gray and dull. Is it like that?
It's weird because New Jersey is called the Garden State, and it is quite green. And in certain parts of it, I mean, the place like the city where I grew up was much more like congested on top of each other. You have a place like Jersey City, which is further north of that, very much like a little version of like a borough of New York City. But like South Jersey, you can go a mile sometimes without seeing a house. Like there's a lot of farmland. You see like horses on the side of the road, like cows and shit. Like it's very like weird how different it is in such a short span. And it's a couple 100 miles, like tip to tip. And the amount of different things you can experience over that span is kind of insane. But yeah, it can be gritty in areas for sure. There's definitely some tough areas, but I would say it's definitely not like a LA glimmer, but there's areas that do have a little shine to them and that kind of thing. And there's definitely areas that probably fit that gray, sort of gritty, grimy version that you have in your mind.
Mm. Yeah. It's like just like a gray filter that I feel like just
it's just the sun never comes out. Yeah, that's how it's been the last like 3 days, honestly.
Yeah, it's done nothing but rain here, floods everywhere. It's crazy.
Really?
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah. What can we expect from you in the future? You got anything coming up?
Bunch of additional music. Always trying to get hooked up with a talent agency. I can't speak on it quite yet, but to someone to handle like bookings and stuff because I want to get back out and start doing shows again. I kind of like turned myself off to the idea for a while. I'm like, maybe I just do music and lay low and do the features and kind of that thing. But I kind of got the bug to go back out and do it again. So we'll see. I don't have the time or energy to like figure it all out myself. So I definitely want to like bring a team on board. So it's a matter of I think I'm like this close with somebody, but I just want to wait until it happens before I say anything.
Yeah, well, it's probably a smart move with the shit show of 2019, 2020.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Netflix or Disney Plus, man? What's your favorite?
Yeah. Netflix. I don't even have Disney Plus.
No. What are you watching on Netflix?
This is actually a Hulu show on Netflix. I've been rewatching Seinfeld from the beginning because they just got Seinfeld. I try to keep it together. What things are on what channels?
What are you watching on Hulu?
Hulu, I'm watching The Handmaid's Tale. Have you ever seen this show?
No, we don't get Hulu here. So
really?
Yeah, it's shit. Because my favorite show is the Snowfall.
Oh yeah, I've seen it. I've never actually watched it, but I keep seeing it advertised.
Yeah, it's decent, but like we don't get Hulu here, so I've got to like dodgy around it and like VPN myself, and it's just it's a mess.
Oh, horrible.
PlayStation or Xbox?
Was Xbox until PS5, and now I'm back on the play. I think I had PlayStation, probably PS3. Then I went like Xbox 360, Xbox One, And then I got back on the PlayStation wagon. I think I'm a PlayStation guy at heart.
It is better. I just have to
It's a
say.
better system. It just
Yeah.
is, yeah.
What are you playing on PlayStation right now? If you're playing anything.
So I got Elden Ring, hate it.
Yeah.
Absolutely hate it. That's not for me. I don't have the patience for that. I'm playing Returnal is awesome. Me and Isaiah were actually playing there. They just came out like a co-op mode that's really cool. What else? I like Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I was playing for a while. I play Call of Duty. I'm not good at it though. I get frustrating. Like everyone else is just way too good at it. I feel like I can't get there. I don't have like patience to get as good as I want to be, you know?
It's one of them things where you need to sit down every day and play. Like you can't just mix between games. It has to be your main game. It's insane. Yeah.
And I did notice like when I played for like 3 or 4 days in a row, I'm like, all right, I am improving, but no, like I can never be like these
12-year-olds.
Yeah. Yeah. And I have to turn the sound off because it pisses me off listening to their voices, like as they destroy me.
Your shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Favorite food, man? What's your favorite food?
Favorite food, probably my mom's meatballs are probably my favorite thing. You're like typical Italian, I guess. I like eggplant parm. I like to cook. So I like any pasta dishes, like a bolognese pasta. But if I had to like eat like one thing, it's probably my mom's meatballs. She'll be happy to hear those too.
That's humbling as hell. And the big and final one, what's your biggest conspiracy?
Biggest conspiracy. I know I saw that question. I'm not a conspiracy person. I don't like, even when there's conspiracies that seem legit, I try to like not take them into consideration. I try to avoid conspiracies at all costs. Yeah, I don't think I have one. No. I have no conspiracies. I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
It's a very dark road to go down. Like once you watch one alien video, you end up watching another one, and then another, and then it's just a dark spiral on YouTube, you know?
Well, I mean, I don't think it's a conspiracy that like we're not the only people in the universe, like are the only like living creatures that are smart and functioning. Like, how can that? It's impossible. There's billions of universes, so how can we be the only ones? It's very egotistical as a human to think that we're like, it's very self-important, you know? Like when we all realize we're not that important, it makes life a lot easier to live.
I do have to ask. I got two questions. It's a two-parter. What, considering we're speaking on conspiracies, what do you guys mean by reptilians? Like, you're not big on conspiracy, so I don't know if you know this one, but like you guys are very big on reptilians of some sort. I don't know.
Who, Americans?
Americans, yeah. It's just super strange. You think the government is run by like reptilian aliens or some shit. I don't get it.
I have no idea about that. I never heard of that.
Okay. It's probably a good thing because it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Reptilian. No, man, there's a lot of conspiracies going on here with a lot of different things with the government. And I don't know, man, I'm sure something is true. If I start, like you said, like, I don't want to go down that road. I'd rather rose-colored glasses for certain things. I can be a pessimist in some ways, or I try to see things like from a, realistic standpoint, but some shit I just don't want to know.
Yeah. I'll connect back with you in a week's time. You have a tinfoil hat, everything.
Yeah, I know what I'm saying. Don't put me on this path.
And what's the one thing you know about Australia?
I don't know. I'm not going to say kangaroos, but obviously that's the first thing that I said anyway. So I would like to go to like the Gold Coast because everything I see of that looks amazing. Is that Australia?
Yeah, that's
I also know that Australia is a country and it's also a continent. Mm-hmm. Because I've definitely had arguments with people and been like, Australia is not a country, it's a continent. But then I Googled it and it's both. But there's one other country, right? In the continent of Australia. Isn't it like, it's like Australia, the country, and then one other place, and then that makes up the continent of Australia.
You talking about New Zealand?
Oh, it's not New Zealand, right?
Yeah.
Is it New Zealand?
You've got Australia, and then just off the coast, you've got New Zealand.
And is that part of Australia, the continent?
Nah. We're very close, but we're not. It's not the same.
There's another place. I'm gonna find it after we get off and, and send
You
it to
mean
you.
Tasmania?
Yes,
The one little
Tasmania.
one down the bottom? Yeah,
Yes, that is part of Australia, the continent, right?
yeah.
Yeah, see, I know.
Oh, Jesus. I thought you meant like New Zealand. I was like, geez, what do they teach you over there in America?
No, New Zealand is like I feel like that's like beef between New Zealand and Australia, always thinking that everyone always thinks you guys are the same with the accents, but they're not the same. They're clearly different.
And we don't do shrimp, we do prawns. Just want to clear that up.
We do shrimp.
Yeah. So
yeah, we're shrimp people. Yeah.
We throw sausages on the barbecue. We don't really throw
You don't
prawns.
throw shrimp on the barbie? That's not
That's not fair.
Damn, that fucked me up.
There's a lot of stuff that you guys just portray that we do, and we probably do half of it, but
I'm sure it's the same. I'm sure it's the same in reverse.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. You guys probably do a lot that we think you guys do. You guys are America. You guys pretty much do everything.
Yeah, somewhere along the way, because of, I don't know. That's the craziest thing about America. It's so different everywhere you go. Like I was saying even before, just in New Jersey, I feel like there's probably 7 or 8 different like distinct cultures that are defined by like 3 or 4 cities. Like that's just in New Jersey, let alone like Texas might as well be a different country, you know, like California is its own beast for sure. You know, then you go in like the Midwest, like North Dakota and Minnesota and places like that, where it's cold all the time. Everything's super spread. That's a completely different life. And that's still America. Alaska, completely different life, still America. You know, it is a strange country in that way.
Yeah. Before we wrap this up, do you have anything to say to your ever-growing fan base?
Just keep rocking with us no matter what, you know, like, and pay attention to the bars. Because when people actually like hit me up, like, oh my God, that was crazy that you said that. That's what gets me hyped. And that's what keeps me going and keeps the pen sharp and keeps me wanting to write stuff that's complex instead of just quickly taking a minute. And anyone I think can write rhymes. It's what you say and how you say it and how you mix the words together. That's what gets me going. And so people tune in and listen a little harder to the lyrics. That would be awesome. I'd appreciate that. But yeah, any support, anything anyone gives me, I'm grateful for it. And that's the stuff that keeps you going.
Yeah. And to anyone who isn't following you, what do you have to say to them?
Fuck you. No, just get in tune, find a song. I'm sure there's something. I do enough different stuff. There's got to be something I'm on somewhere that you like, if you like music, you know, I guess, unless you like something classical music or something, but I've got to be on something in electronic music or hip hop that you like. I hope so. Yeah, get in tune. And I'm on TikTok now.
Sold out. There you go. You're on TikTok.
Yeah, I just really tried. I tried hard, but it is pretty cool. Like how I have like no followers. I just made it like 3 days ago, and the posts get more views than you get on Instagram with 15,000 followers. It's crazy. It's just a whole different world. So we'll see. I don't know how long I'll be able to stick with it, but
well, hopefully forever. Instagram's kind of gone downhill in the last month. I don't know what the fuck happened.
It's been weird. Yeah, it's been weird. Unpredictable with like exposure. I can't make heads or tails of why certain posts get attention, certain posts don't. There'll be days where my stories get 600 or 700 views, and there'll be days where they get like 60 views. I don't understand. If there was a reason. So I used to think like if you put a lot of words in a post, it wouldn't get views, and like it just doesn't seem like there's any rhyme or reason to it though anymore. So you're right. Gotta move on to the next thing. I wish I got on TikTok earlier, but
it is what it is.
Next time.
Milano The Don, man. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks, brother. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me. It was fun.